hello. I was busy fiddling around with other buttons and forgot to get back here in time. Sorry, guys. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody on panel, and those of you who are in chat, and those who are lurking. Welcome.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hi, Susan. I'm going to start with you with as far as introductions and hellos. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Just like everybody else, trying to stay warm and dry.
Interested to see how Terri's story is going to morph.
Yeah. Yes. There will be some morphing for sure. For sure. We might hit some parts in the police report tonight too, even though we really kind of went over most of it through not the police report itself, but everything through Bates's podcast. But if I come across something in the preliminary testimony that I think differs from the police report, we'll show it after we're done. But yeah, it should be interesting for sure. Everyone that has been so far. Thank you, Susan. Hey, how are you doing tonight? I'm not speaking very loudly, I don't think. Kay, how are you doing? Oh, okay, there you are.
No, I'm here. I was muted and I was in a different, I was messing with other buttons.
You were messing with other buttons, got it. I feel ya.
I'm good.
Awesome. All righty. It's really nasty and cold there from what I can tell on the news, weather.
No, it's nicer now today.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Jack, how about you? How are you doing today?
Doing good. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope.
Doing okay.
Yep, should be another interesting little read here.
Yeah, definitely. It's only 20 pages or 21 pages, very, very short. So I anticipate, other than what discussion we might have, pointing out the different things, it should be a fairly easy, quicker show tonight for sure. So, all right. Thank you, Jack. And Jack is streaming on Foul Play. If you're watching on Foul Play, that's great. But why not just come over here to my channel and subscribe and like the video here and, help my channel out a little bit. That's why Jack is streaming in Foul Play, so that people from the Foul Play community can get more familiar with Daniel's case. So,
that's right.
Come over here and chat here. And I try to highlight the comments that come in from Foul Play, but you also miss, if you're over in Foul Play, you also miss a lot of the chat that's going on over here, because I can't get every comment or question from Foul Play highlighted to see. So just come on over. All of you lurkers, get on over here and get into the channel. All right. Thank you, Jack, so much. And Cherie, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Wrongful Conviction of Daniel Holtzclaw.
Episode 7. And yeah, I feel like it's going really well since we started over. Our views have increased a great amount. We've got a few more subscribers and a lot more going on in the comment sections, which is great. So come and check out the comment section too, and don't be afraid to jump in and answer a question if you see one, or answer or share an opinion, or anything like that. So really quick, I'm not going to go into it right now, but I just need somebody on the panel to remind me of something that I wanted to just kind of share with everybody at the end, not anything to do with the case or anything, but having to do with my channel. So if you guys could hopefully remind me at the end to share what I have to say about the channel, that would be helpful to me, because I'm probably going to forget by the time we get through the first page of this transcript. So, all right, same readers as usual. So we're reading the preliminary or pre-trial hearing testimony of Terri Morris today. And Susan, I'm not sure which part Lori McConnell and Terri Morris are the two female voices that were up for grabs. And so I don't know which one between Kay and Susan, which ones they decided. I'll let them work that out. Jack will likely read the part for Scott Adams. If Giger chimes in at some point, because I think he does, if I'm not mistaken, Giger's going to chime in at some point here, even though he's not doing direct examination. If that happens, I'll read that part. And Cherie has agreed to read the part of the court. So if everybody's ready, we'll go ahead and just get started.
Okay, you want to
Ready.
read Terry?
I'll read whatever you don't want to read.
Okay, you read Terry.
Okay, got it.
Okay, we're on the screen. Let's go.
First with the court. Line 15, is that where we're starting?
Yes.
Mr. Giger, you may call your next witness.
Even though
State-
Lori McConnell.
Okay. Go ahead.
Who is reading McConnell?
You are.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Giger.
Oh no.
State calls Terri Morris.
Could you come over here right by the bench just for a moment, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Right here will be fine. Have a seat there in the witness chair, Miss Morris. If you will sit where you can face out toward the lectern out there where Miss McConnell is. Standing, Mr. Giger will pull the microphone up to you. You can put your bag there on the floor in your lap, however you're more comfortable.
All right.
And just face toward Ms. McConnell. Would you please tell me your name?
Terri L. Morris.
Okay, Miss Morris, you don't need to lean into the microphone quite so much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But you're speaking up very nicely, and I appreciate that. That helps.
I apologize.
That helps. You're doing fine. Miss McConnell, you may inquire.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Morris, how old are you today?
44.
I'm going to talk to you about May 8th, 2014, okay? Back in the evening hours of May 8, 2014, did you encounter an Oklahoma City police officer?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Where were you whenever you saw that Oklahoma City police officer?
Coming out of Liberty State Apartments, almost to the corner of 26th and Lindsay.
Okay. Is that 26th and Lindsay?
Yeah.
And you said that those were Liberty States apartments?
Station.
Station. And Liberty Station apartments, you said you were leaving the apartment complex?
Yeah.
How did the officer make contact with you?
He stopped me. He pulled up beside me.
And so he pulled up in a police car?
Yeah.
What did that police car look like?
It had the thing on the top. It was just a regular police car.
When you say had things on the top, do you mean it had lights on the top?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
It's okay. The only reason why I ask you is because the lady sitting next to you has to take down what you say. And sometimes uh-huh and uh-uh look the same. So I'll try to help you remember, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's habit.
It's okay. It's okay. I know you're nervous and it's all right. You're doing just fine. I do it too. Ms. Morris, whenever the police officer came, was he by himself or were there more than one?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you by yourself or were you with other people?
I was by myself.
Okay. And did he say anything to you?
Yeah, he got out. He asked me to hand my purse. He asked me, did I have anything on me in my purse or whatever.
What did you tell him?
I told him I did have a pipe
That you did have a pipe?
and crack pipe.
What did he do after you told him that?
Well, he placed me in the car. Then he got in, I guess. He ran a check to see if I had any warrants, but I didn't have none. Then he pulled around on 24th, 2 blocks from where he picked me up at. Well, he asked me a bunch of questions. Where I coming from? Where was I going? And I told him all that. And then he pulled around on 24th, 2 blocks from where I was.
So were you on 24th and Lindsay then?
I think that's Lindsay. I'm not sure. It's right across the street from a museum, the prehistoric museum or something, next to some apartments.
Okay. What happened once you got to 24th and Lindsay?
Doing good. You're doing good.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I got to get my shit together. Oh, my God. Well, we sat there for a few minutes. I guess he was trying to see if I had a warrant, waiting for them to, well, let them know, I guess, on that thing. Then he got out. He come to the back door. He opened the door. I thought he was going to let me go, and then he asked me.
And Terry, let me stop you right now. When you sat in the back seat of the police car, what side were you on?
Shoot, I don't know. I was on, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's the left side or the right side.
Well, was it the driver's side or the passenger side?
Driver's side.
Okay. And you said he got out of his police car?
I was in the back seat, though.
Okay, so you weren't in the driver's seat.
Lord.
Okay. Sorry. Little ad lib there. Okay. Thank you. So he got out of his car door, and came to where you were sitting.
Yeah.
What happened after he did that?
He asked me to told me to open up my pants. Asked me, do I got some panties on, and told me to open them.
Did you have underwear on? Did you open your pants? How did you open your pants?
Witness nods.
Counsel, we need to have verbal answers to both those questions, if you wouldn't mind backing up.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Let me back up, okay? Did you have any underwear on?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you open up your pants for him?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you open up your pants?
I unbuttoned them, unzipped them.
Okay. What happened after you did that?
When he kind of looked. Then he told me, raise my shirt up.
Let me go back to your pants. You said he kind of looked. Did he touch you at all whenever he did that?
No, just just a little part on my jeans. I guess get a good look, I guess. I don't know.
So he touched like the zipper part of your jeans?
Witness
That's
nods.
not what she said.
No.
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry I keep doing that.
And did he pull it away?
Huh?
Lord have mercy.
I'm sorry. Did he pull it away from your body, the zipper part of your jeans?
Yeah, he just kind of opened it a little bit.
Whenever he did that, was your vagina exposed?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he say anything, whenever he did that?
Yeah, he told me raise my shirt up next.
Okay. And what happened next?
Well, then I raised my shirt up, and then he asked me,
Miss Morris, let me interrupt you. Whenever you raised your shirt up, were you wearing a bra that evening?
no.
Whenever you raised your shirt up, were your breasts exposed?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he say anything, whenever that happened?
I don't think so. I can't really remember. I don't think so.
Did he, during this time period, say anything about whether or not you were going to go to jail?
Yeah. He said something like, you could go to jail for this, that crack pipe. And I said, well, most people just throw them away. Most officers just throw them away.
Did he say anything?
But he gave it back to me at the end, so I asked for it back.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And we'll get there, Terry. Did he say anything about what you could do to not go to jail?
No, he didn't. He didn't say I could do anything not go to jail. He did what he did. That was probably whether I was going or not.
What happened next after you raised your shirt up?
Then he asked me to give him some head, and I had my head turned, and I turned around, and his private was right here in my face, and he said 2 sucks. Just 2 times or something, he said. Just come on. 2 times.
Did you see him take his penis out of his pants?
No, it was already out when I turned my head and looked back.
Do you remember if he had his pants down?
Yeah, he didn't have them down. He just had it out.
Okay, like through the fly of his pants?
I can't remember if it was the button and the zipper was unbuttoned. One of them was. I don't know if it was both of them undone, the zipper or the button, or just one of them undone.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it was through the fly, though. But I mean, the button might have been undone too. I don't know.
After he told you 2 sucks, what happened?
Ow. Oh, sorry. I lost
You
my
okay?
place. Oh, I just
9/11.
stuff. I didn't.
Did his penis go into your mouth?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did it.
Did he ejaculate, Terry?
No. Then he wanted me to do more, and I said, you said 2 times, and I did it 2 times. Then he stopped and he had let me out.
Terry, let me ask you these things that you had told me that had happened whenever he had you unbutton your pants. Were you sitting in the patrol car when that happened, or were you outside?
In the patrol car.
Okay. When he had you raise your shirt, were you in the patrol car then as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And then whenever he had you put his penis into your mouth, were you in the patrol car then?
Yes, ma'am.
After that stop, what happened next?
Okay. So he had let me out the car. He gave my purse back. He first told me I couldn't get my crack pipe back. Then I was thinking to myself, I mean, ain't no sense in following the rules now. You ain't. That's what I was thinking. I didn't say that to him, but I was thinking it to myself. You ain't been following the rules, so I asked for it back.
Did he give you your crack pipe back?
Witness nods.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear an answer.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay, thanks.
Wait 1 second, Ms. Morris. Let me ask you this. The things that you told me that the officer made you do whenever he made you raise your shirt and unbutton your pants and put his penis into your mouth, were those things that you wanted to do?
No.
Why did you do them?
I was scared.
Well, what were you scared of?
About him being an officer. I was nervous and I felt like even though I didn't have no warrants and he might make up something on me and send me into jail anyway.
There's a Kleenex there for you, Terry.
Like I know that like I've had been in trouble before, so I mean like who am I to a police officer? I'm just
Did he get back into his police car, Terry?
yes.
What happened after that?
Well, when he let me out, he asked me where was I going. I told him I was going to my uncle's house.
Where did your uncle live? Don't tell me the exact address, but just kind of the intersection.
Right on 26 and Kelly.
Okay. And what happened after that?
And he said, I don't think it's safe for you to walk.
So he offered to drive you?
Yeah, and I told him I wanted to walk, and he said, no, I don't think that's safe. He said, I wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
Okay. So where did he take you?
So he told me to get back in the car and started taking me back the 2 blocks back to 26th. He took me further down, and it was in some open field that he stopped in front of. I know the open field very well because I grew up in that neighborhood.
Where is the open field at?
Like on Hill Street, right at Phillips.
Okay. Is that kind of around the area of 32nd and Kelly?
Witness nods.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you get out whenever he took you to the field?
No, we didn't get out. He stopped for a second.
Why didn't you get out at the field?
I don't know. It was like it was like he was thinking, deciding or something. Whether I don't really know. But then I thought, I think he was deciding whether to. But I was so hysterical, kind of hollering a little bit
Why were you hysterical at that point?
because I was nervous and scared, and I didn't know what was going to happen next.
Okay. What happened after you stopped at the field? At the field.
Well, he stopped for a second, and then all of a sudden he told me to chill out because I was kind of crying and getting hysterical. And he was like, I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take you where you go. And all of a sudden, he just turned around and went up the street and dropped me off where I asked.
Where you had asked before at your uncle's house?
Well, at the corner, yeah. And I walked on down the street.
Is that at the 26 and Kelly place that you told me about earlier?
Yeah.
After this happened, Terry, did you call police that day?
No, I didn't call them that day. It was a few days afterwards. I wasn't even gonna call, period. Because I don't think nobody was gonna believe me anyway. And I'm a drug addict, so the only way I knew to handle it was to go and get high to try to block it out, to make it seem like it didn't happen.
Miss Morris, did you want to cooperate in this investigation at first?
Well, I did, but I was scared, so I didn't.
What were you scared of?
I didn't want to I didn't want to because then, because people were telling me that all police, they wasn't going to believe me over a police, and I almost feel like all polices are the same.
Did you eventually tell Detective Gregory what had happened to you?
Well, yeah, well, I had a fight. I was having a fight with my ex, and we had broke up. We was having a fight, end up calling the police, but I had end up telling my ex, and we called them for one thing, called the police for one thing. Me and him was having an argument, but when they came after that, and then I was like, he brought it up.
Oh, really? Detective Gregory did?
No, my ex did while we were out there having our own argument.
Okay. But you did get a chance to talk to Detective Gregory about what had happened to you?
Yeah, they were there, and my ex was telling me that I needed to tell the police what happened.
And so you did after that?
Right then, yeah. That night at the store outside.
Miss Morris, today you told me that the officer had stopped you after you left the Liberty Station apartments. Do you remember telling officers something different?
Yeah, I did, because I didn't want my boyfriend to know where I'd been initially.
Where'd you tell police officers at first that you had been stopped?
That I was somewhere about rescue mission downtown.
And so, if I understand you right, the reason that you lied was because you didn't want your boyfriend to know that you had been around Liberty Station?
Well, yeah, yes.
Object to the form of the question.
Sustained.
I can rephrase. Why didn't you want to say?
Because who?
What?
The hell, man.
Why didn't you want to say that you had been around Liberty Station?
Well, I didn't want him to know that I'd been out, around places I wasn't supposed to be. I was in drug rehab.
And when you say you don't,
And I was getting stressed out.
whenever you said you didn't want him to know, do you mean your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Christopher Shelton, yeah.
Christopher Shelton?
Yeah.
Miss Morris, earlier you were telling me that whenever these things happened, it was around the area of 24th and Lindsay. Do you remember telling me?
26th and Lindsay.
Was Liberty Station Apartments, right?
Yeah.
And then the officer took you to 24th Street.
Yeah.
Is that in Oklahoma County?
Oh, yes. That's right across the street from the. Well, I want to say it's called a prehistoric museum, I think. It's some kind of museum.
Okay.
But across the street from the. Well, I don't know what kind of house that is.
Okay. Miss Morris, this officer that we've talked about, do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell me where he's seated and what he's wearing?
I guess that's a dark black or navy blue suit.
Is he to your left or to your right?
To my left.
Okay. And there's two gentlemen here sitting at this table to your left. Is he the man who is closest to the judge or?
That one right there.
Could you listen to Miss McConnell's question, ma'am, and let's try to answer that question. That will kind of help me understand better what you're trying to tell me. Let's give her just a second, Miss McConnell.
Okay.
Is he the man closest to the judge, Terry, or the man furthest away from the judge?
Closest.
Your Honor, may the record reflect identification of the defendant as the officer who stopped Ms. Morris on May 8, 2014.
Record will so reflect.
And may I have a brief moment?
You may.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examine.
Miss Morris, would it be a fair statement to say that you are a convicted felon?
Yes, it would.
Okay. And the events that you've described that allegedly happened back in May of 2014, you did not call the police, correct?
No, I didn't.
In fact, you never called the police. They were called out on you and your boyfriend.
No, actually, we called my boyfriend and me were arguing and he called the police. We were having an argument. But once that was what he was, almost at the end of that, before we left up, telling them what happened. So,
You and your boyfriend were having a domestic?
yeah, not a fight, just an argument.
Okay. And he called the police out, and you were rather upset?
Yeah,
And that's when you told for the first time that anything inappropriate had happened between you and an Oklahoma City.
yeah.
If you let me finish my question, I'll let you finish your answer.
Oh, sorry.
That's the first time you told anyone from Oklahoma City Police that something inappropriate had happened between you and an officer, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then when you did that, you also lied to them about where it allegedly transpired.
Yes, sir.
And then your reasoning for that is that you did not want Mr. Shelton to know that you had been out using narcotics.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would it also be a fair statement to say that you were a crack cocaine user?
Yes, sir.
And that you've also been a prostitute in the past?
In the past, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in the events that you described here today on direct examination, you talk about Mr. Holtzclaw asking you to unzip your pants. Are you agreeing with me? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You also testified on direct that he asked you to lift your shirt, and you did that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall when you were being interviewed by the detectives that to ask you specifically, did you ever show your breast to Mr. Holtzclaw? And you stated no.
No, I never stated no. I did everything he told me to do.
Okay. If the detectives took it down and it's interviewed and recorded that you told them no, you never showed them your breast, would you have been incorrect then?
He asked me to show my breasts. I raised my shirt up and showed him everything he asked me to do, so that if that's in the interview, I don't know how. I know it got in. I know it got in there, but I know I specifically said yes.
Okay. Have you watched any news or media about this case?
Oh, a little bit, not much.
Okay. Have you looked at anything on the internet?
No.
So, but you have seen some stuff in the news regarding this case.
Oh, I mean, barely, because I try not to watch too much of it.
I noticed that you have a lawyer here today. Is there a reason for that?
I guess she just want to be by my side. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just asking you, is there a reason that you have a lawyer in the courtroom today?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't know why I have a lawyer here today.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Miss Morris, that is all the questions we're going to ask you, ma'am. Excuse me. You can push that microphone aside and step down. Don't forget your bag, and you're free to leave.
Like this?
Yes, ma'am. That'd be fine. Miss McConnell, would you like to see your witness out?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's just fine.
All right.
Okay, I'm actually, I should have, I should have left this part in, or I should have got this part for you as well, where Mr. Gigger chimes in and he says, Your Honor, while Ms. McConnell is seeing to the next witness, based upon the testimony we just received, I would request leave to amend. So I didn't include what that amend is, but he is now, because if you guys caught on, I'm sure all of you did, it's very clear in every recorded interview that we heard with Terri Morris that she said that he did not see her breast. She did not show him her bare breasts. If we remember and go back to that and look in the police report.
Yep.
Right. So now that they've got her to say in court, or in the pre-trial hearing, that yes, he did see her breast, she did show him her breast, they're going to add that now to his charges, and that's what the whole.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
They do that several times throughout this case.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many charges they initially filed, but they kept adding on during testimony or at the end of people's testimony.
Yeah.
Which has obviously changed from previous testimony or previous statements.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such bullshit that they have all the supporting documents that they have. But when they get to a stage, like when they need the arrest warrant, then they craft a story that leaves out everything exculpatory and twists around their dates that they have to make it. I mean, the freaking arrest warrant, application for arrest warrant, that's embarrassing. That's criminal. That you could present a document to a judge for an arrest warrant that wasn't factually correct. And that didn't have exculpatory evidence in it. You can't just leave that stuff out. That should be people, they should be held responsible for that.
Absolutely.
Things are never going to change until shit like that changes.
Adams did not even ask her about the change of dates.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think he has it. I don't think he's figured it out yet. in the process
Gee.
of things.
Okay.
I'm just guessing if he had figured it out already, because this is where a timeline would be good. Everything's happening real fast now.
Now,
Okay.
look, maybe I have, and maybe I have. Oh, wait, I'm not Adams. Never mind.
I don't know.
What is the date of this hearing?
Do you know, Rhonda?
Oh, I see,
Yeah.
November 18.
Yeah.
Is this November 18th,
No,
2014. That's what it says
2014?
at the top.
So yeah, he's arrested
Yeah.
the end of August, and then his preliminary hearing is November. And if you saw the list of discovery that they got dumped on him, then you could probably understand why they don't have their shit together.
I hate that that's illegal for lawyers to do.
Yeah. And yeah, this was just,
Go ahead, Rhonda.
I was just going to say, so yeah, this was just 3 months after Daniel was arrested. And so, yeah, there's still more to come that they're going to, like Kay said, pile on before trial and add to and all that stuff. I mean, at this point, they've just barely, they haven't even found Adara at this point yet, because they don't find Adara until
No, that's is that true?
I don't think they found Adara until
Yeah, I think they've
just
already
barely.
found her.
They just barely found Adara in October. So
Okay.
they're still putting a case together while trying to push this through, which is just outrageous to me, but it is what it is, I guess.
Well, yeah,
Well,
you know, they're right out of the gate here, already testifying basically for the witness. I mean, she did it several times on direct.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, excuse me. And I think Susan brought that up when she was talking about, Terri Morris in the beginning didn't say anything about her zipper. She
Right.
talked about, well, she
Right.
said unzipped or unbuttoned. And then that was pretty much where she left it. And then, it was Lori, the ADA, who started talking about the zipper, Did he
Yeah.
move your zipper? Did he touch your zipper? So yeah.
Hey, I'm looking through the 2-day prelim. So preliminary hearings were held on the 17th and 18th. Is that right? Yeah, November 17th and 18th of 2014. And they have all 13 accusers testified over 2 days, as well as Kim Davis.
Wow.
Wow, Rocky didn't testify.
In prelim, I thought it was just the witnesses in the prelim, but I
No.
could be. And they
Well,
also included like Joe Hill and the.
No,
No.
I don't see that.
Okay.
No, the only extra people are Terry Williams, and Kim Davis. That's it.
Mm.
They have a lot of exhibits though, so can't remember what all those are.
Terry
But
Williams,
can you imagine just the volume of discovery there would be with 13 cases?
Yeah.
God.
And it's ridiculous. And what, it's kind of strange to me. What would be the purpose of getting to pretrial so quickly, other than they'll on the stand while their fabricated stories were still as fresh as possible? I think I could be wrong, but that's just me being jaded.
I think it
I
was
wanted-
Daniel's push to a speedy
Oh,
trial.
okay.
He wanted to clear his
Okay.
name and have it behind him.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense too.
So
I wanted to get
think-
back to this question from Catnet. What were they looking for in asking about the lawyer? I think it was a civil rights attorney that she had that they were talking about, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong.
That was what I thought too. He was getting at that. Look, she's got a lawyer already. Why do you think she's
Yeah.
looking for something like that?
Because he's done that so far with, I mean, we saw that in, of course, those were trial testimonies that we read, or unless there were pending charges against Terri Morris, then she would have her attorney there to, tell her what she could and couldn't talk about related to that.
That's possible.
What could be pending? That trespass charge?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think she had anything pending.
It
so
was a
that's-
joke.
Oh,
Like the
okay.
trespass charge, remember?
Yeah. She just
That could have been
that poor
pending. Oh
lady,
wait,
man.
that never showed up. Okay.
That never. Yeah, that's not on the record. There's no record of that anywhere. Yeah. Sorry, Kay.
I don't know if she had any pending
I don't-
charges at the time. They might have been
I don't-
holding whatever that arrest was over her head, but until
Yeah.
they could make her jump through the right hoops. But
Yeah,
never
I mean, I don't
saw that.
remember any pending charges either, but as you guys clearly know and can hear, I don't. But I don't remember that about her. I know there were some others that were in that situation, or if I remember. But I kind of feel like it might have been a civil rights attorney, possibly. I don't know. I mean, because this had just barely hit the news 3 months earlier, so. Crump.
But
and his-
Benjamin Crump jumped on it as soon as Daniel. I mean, I
Right.
think Crump was on it before Daniel got arrested. So
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
that's
He's always
Crump
like
was
right
he
there.
like falls from the sky as soon as there's anything related to a civil rights.
he's so
Case.
disgusting. He gives civil rights people a bad name.
He really does.
Yeah.
He really does. I mean, he could be so much better. But he's just
Yeah.
a charlatan, man. He is.
He's a fucking
Really
ambulance
gives-
chaser.
He is. I mean, he gives people who actually care about these issues a black eye.
Yeah. I agree.
Especially, well, it makes me. This is unfair, I guess, but it also makes me question every case that I've seen him, work in a civil rights lawsuit now. I mean, I know that's not the case. I'm sure there are some that, were rightfully.
Terry had no idea why she had a lawyer there.
She had
Obviously.
no idea. That's
Yeah.
why I think it was civil rights attorney. It was
I
Crump
loved
and
her
his
answer,
minions.
though. That was so cool. I liked her answer a lot.
Yeah, I did too. And you did them really well, Kay, by the way. And from what I can remember also in the deposition, she was very, very, like the way you were speaking in your tone. That's what I remember her being like in her deposition as well. Just like, you know what? I'm just here to do what y'all told me to do. Ask me the question. I want to get out of here, and this is all I know, and so let's get on with the next thing.
She had some attitude.
She really did.
She did have attitude.
Yeah. As tiny as she was, and possibly the worst as far as the drugs and mental illnesses of all of these accusers. She was feisty. She was a feisty little thing in her deposition. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, it wasn't a very long deposition, thank goodness. And I will put that in Discord as soon as we're done here tonight. But and I'll also, I believe the police report is already there. I'm gonna have to start trying to pin those things in the different rooms so that if you don't see them in the the flow of the chat, just check the pinned comments and should find them there if I haven't done it already. I'll try to work on that tonight and tomorrow. But yeah, so there were some inconsistencies for sure, and that's why the whole bare breast thing, it just, when I read that little bit about, Giger asking to amend, they wanted to take leave to amend, I was like, you son of a bitch. And, the thing of it is that as you guys remember listening to the different parts of Bates podcast and listening to the way she was speaking and how adamant she was about the type of car he drove, that never changed. Not even in deposition did that change. That he was in the black and
they
white
didn't ask
cruiser.
her. They didn't ask her
No.
in her deposition, did they?
No, they didn't ask her
testimony there.
Yeah, and they didn't really ask her a lot of questions, at least compared to some of the others. And I don't know if that's.
Sorry.
Okay. No,
that was
go ahead.
another thing Adams missed, was asking her about a new or an old style police car, because in every accounting that she gave from the night of the 911 call, she said it was the older model car, and she even pointed out an older model car that night. She stuck with that the whole way through. I mean, even through her deposition.
Yeah.
Right.
But he didn't ask her about the car.
No. Nope.
And I was going to pull up a picture of the cars. They don't have lights on top, do they?
I don't know. I'll look and see. Well,
I remember
lights, but go ahead, Kit. Go ahead.
Yep. Because Kim said, well, I don't know, I can't say for sure where they are, but Kim said that the light washes out, so there had to be light.
And they wash out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wash out the hair.
What'd she say? The lights. Oh, so and so told me, oh, you can't go by hair. People can't tell hair. Everybody's hair looks blonde in those lights because whatever, and they wash out. And what did Michelle Malkin say? But they wouldn't
change the height.
Yeah, it wouldn't change the height, right? No, it wouldn't change the height. But now we're switching girls. But she's a tall girl for a girl.
Yeah, that was when Dick Smith. That was when he chimed in, and he's like, "All right." And she said, "Well, I'm just kind of, And he's like, "I know what you're trying to do." He's such an ass.
Yes, yeah. Is that who that was? You think?
I thought
Jenny
it was.
Asking me if that was Gary Knight in that interview with Malkin, and I always thought it was a city attorney, but when I went back to listen, it sure doesn't sound like him.
You don't
doesn't
think it was?
Sound like his voice.
Okay, I don't know. I thought you were asking a different question. I thought it was. I guess I've just always assumed that it was.
Yeah, I did too, but it's obviously not his voice. But I can't tell whose voice it is, and it doesn't show him.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, let me see if I can make this picture. Yeah, there are lights, but not really.
It's like
This isn't the best picture, I don't think, but that's what I've got right now, so that's what we're gonna look at. I think there's probably better pictures if you Google them, honestly. That's kind of what they look like. So, but I don't. But yeah, they were just the bar lights on both of the cars.
The older model car has some more prominent thingy on top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Which is the car that Daniel didn't drive, but that's the officer that raped her was driving that car.
If she was raped, yeah.
What rape? I keep saying rape
sexually assaulted.
Rape, but it's actually
sexually assaulted.
It was
Oral sodomy.
oral sodomy, and what's the exposing herself to him
Yeah,
charge?
she's. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
Indecent exposure or something like that. Or
Lewd
Tabitha
exhibition
Vine
or
says
something?
exposing myself.
Exposing
Yeah.
myself.
Is it lewd exhibition?
I don't know, let me look and see
Could
in this
be. I
other.
can't remember.
Just let me while we're kind of chatting.
That
and I'm
would be a
looking for
charge
this-
on the woman, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know my charges.
Yeah. There's too many of them to
I don't
remember.
use that, man, in my life.
It's not something that just pops up every day.
You'd think I would know, but I learn other facts of the case, not necessarily the terminology.
It's really hard to remember all that stuff, though. So
Ugh.
I'm trying
It
to
is.
find the. I mean, I remember there were times that we knew a lot about all the different cases, but not so much now. Because
Okay, but can you imagine being Scott Adams in November of 2014?
yeah, that it had to be.
And you've got all 13 accusers at prelim. And how would you possibly have been able to process all of the paperwork and develop any kind of thought process about how or why that happened?
Right.
How long did it take us to figure out the why would they do that to Daniel
Yeah.
Manson? It took me
Exactly.
a long time to figure out what I think the reason is. So I don't know. I just, this case was designed to be this way. It was designed to be a case that you can't defend, and a case that's practically impossible to get back in court on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
With
hard.
so many, so much.
Because you have to undo every single one of those 18 counts.
Yeah.
He's convicted on 18 of the 36 counts, and every single one of them has to be overturned. And, there just wasn't evidence for all of them. So now when you flip that around and he has the burden of proof,
Yeah.
Right.
you don't have anything to go on. I mean, it should have never been able to be. Some of those accusers should have never, the DA should have never filed charges.
It's
on
all
it.
he said, she said. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
And
It's not even circumstantial, like a lot of people like to say too. It's not even circumstantial.
It's not.
well, the public that just believes that, the AVL doesn't lie, and they can't actually see how the AVL was used against him, and that the AVL it hasn't been disclosed to the defense team when the AVL was accessed and by whom. So, if they had nothing to hide, they would have produced those queries to the defense, but they didn't.
Exactly.
And that should tell the whole story to the public who thinks, they had GPS on him. Yeah, but
But the GPS just says where he was. It doesn't show
that's on
or
you.
prove that. Yeah, it's just so.
What you've been doing.
It's
See
just-
what I think I want to charge you with.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I can jam a rape in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
Well,
nice window of time. Andy stopped in the rapey schoolyard. He drove
Yeah.
through there. We can say he stopped.
Mhm.
Right.
Oh my God, it's just
Sickening.
it
I
is
wanted
sick.
to I wanted to tell everybody, because I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before in the years that we've been doing this case on the channel. There are, to me, this is a lot. I could be wrong, but you know how when a jury's been selected and they're called in the first morning or first day of trial, and one of the first things the judges do is read the jury instructions to the jury. There were 77 pages of jury instruction because
my God.
he read an instruction page for every count on every accuser and
Oh my God.
read that to the jury on the first. Like what? At least that's how I
Wow.
gather it from what I've read in that part of the section. There are 77 pages of jury instructions, and each page identifies a different accuser.
I
And
wonder how
so,
many were sleeping during that. The jury.
and I, because nothing like that, nothing, it wasn't televised. You know, I could be wrong, but I know there are 77 pages in the transcript. Seen them,
I'm sure that's what he
and
read then.
and they said jury instructions. So it's just mind-boggling to me. And I don't know.
I looked up the charges. Well, I don't have them all listed, but I think the words we were looking for is procuring lewd exhibition.
Yes, because he procured it.
Procuring.
Yes.
Yes. You're right.
And and I remember in the clip that we have with Tabitha Barnes, her completely denying that she ever said that
Yeah.
deposition. And of course, I mean, it was the deposition. By now, he's in prison for 263 years. What can be done? So yeah, thank you, Kat, for doing that. I appreciate it. Kat, the descriptions for AVL in the chat. So
Yeah, thank
we
you.
don't always know.
I'm usually better about remembering to explain that. Thank you, Kat.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, automated vehicle locator, or I'll just sometimes do AVL and then /GPS or something whenever I'm talking about it. But yeah, I appreciate you doing that.
That system is housed within his onboard computer. So the reason that was an issue, I guess, for the first traffic stop is that when Daniel was driving home that night and he shut down his computer on the way home like he did every night, that did disable his AVL tracking device. So,
But there's no issue that he did stop her. And, there's
No, he
video.
said he stopped her. So it wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, we can't prove he stopped her, but it looks nefarious because
Right.
it's off. No, yeah, you're right, Susan.
Yeah.
He instantly said, yes, I made a traffic stop at 50th and Lincoln last night on the way, and I didn't call it in.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was the only instance that of all of these accusers where his computer was off. And that's another misconception that you'll hear on other podcasts because they're taking it from they're just taking it from what the narrative, what the media is saying. And Ben
I wonder if that
way.
I wonder if that takes a while for it to come online to turn it on.
I could ask Daniel how long it would take his computer to
to ask
warm
him,
up.
To come online or
when he turns it on, how long it takes to. I bet it doesn't take that long.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine that it would take too long.
It might
But,
take
you
several
know.
minutes. I don't
Well,
know.
he is connecting automatically to a few databases because he
Right.
can look
Mhm.
up the whole Varuna system
Right?
on his computer. That's a lot of, well, I don't
It's a
know.
lot of
I don't-
information. Yeah, I mean, it's who knows. Well, yeah, it's. I mean, it's you just have to ask Daniel for sure, I guess, or another officer who in the chat who might well, no, there's no officers in the chat, but if you know an officer or something. I want to
Well,
say something.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I think it would be more specific to their system at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it depends on a lot of different things for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of go back and kind of touch on when we were talking about what other podcasters are saying on their channels about the few that do about Daniel's case. It somehow gets conveyed that, and like Kay was talking, the different podcasters cherry picking from media and, other little tidbits here and there. There is also a really big misconception that Daniel was always turning off his GPS while he was on duty and doing these traffic stops. That's never been the case, and that was never claimed
No.
by any of the investigators. He was not ever turning off his GPS or AVL while he was on duty. It wasn't happening, and it was never said by the state, by the investigators or the prosecutors, that it did happen. The only time was that there wasn't an AVL on was Jamie Liggins, and he was off duty. That's the only time. So
Off the
if you'd like
clock on his way home. Yeah.
off the clock on his way home. No other time was he on duty turning off his AVL and assaulting women. It just didn't happen. So if you're talking about it with others in another chat somewhere or something, those of you who might or who do or have, if you see that come up, it's just not true, and it was never accused that he was doing that. So it's just another thing that popped in when we were talking about the fact that there's no proof of when those AVL maps were pulled. I'll just say this: I very strongly believe that those AVLs were pulled before these women were talked to, or at the very least immediately after they were talked to, and while they, because they didn't always say, the accuser would say, well, I think it was here, and I'm not really sure the date or the time, and the sun was out, but it was cool, and I was wearing all those things, but they could never state a location, a date, or a time ever that I can recall. And so I believe that those were either already pulled or pulled up immediately after an interview with an accuser. And then the accuser was informed of, after in a second interview, perhaps, of okay, this was the day that it happened to you. This was the time. This was the location. So memorize all that, because we're going to need you to say it. That's just my very strong belief, and nobody else has to believe that or accept it, of course, because there's no proof of it. And it's like Kay said, if that hadn't been done, then they could just have very easily dispelled that suspicion at trial by showing that. But they danced around it and wouldn't ever produce anything to prove that they didn't do that. So. Okay, so next week we'll start the trial transcript. I expect a couple of weeks for her trial transcript. So a couple of episodes, I guess. Perhaps more. I haven't really looked at all of her trial transcript, but I definitely want to read. We definitely want to go through Rocky Gregory's testimony, because I think I've told you before, each investigator also testified in each accuser's case individually. So, for instance, we've heard, Shardarian Hill, we've heard Rocky's testimony for her case, and, the different, Kim Davis, we've heard, she's testified for Adara's case. So, we definitely want to, because I tell you this much, I'm not going to say that I really hear or see if Kim Davis blatantly lying in her testimonies that I've read so far, like really blatant, bald-faced lies that we can pull up information and prove that it was a lie. With Rocky Gregory, absolutely we can do that. We can absolutely find that with Rocky, where he lies. And he just doesn't seem to be a thing. Just like, okay, well, whatever. It's like they know that the state's gonna recover it for them, and so Rocky's just the worst. As bad as Kim Davis is, Rocky's worse, in my opinion. So. All right, so that's kind of pretty much all we have for tonight. We're just gonna kind of leave the testimony stuff at that for the most part. I believe her police report is already in her room in Discord. If not, like I said, I think I said this already tonight, I'll get it in there tonight or tomorrow. And I'll get this, I'll get this hearing, pre-trial hearing in there also. So that you guys can read it and compare it to the police report, and, listen to the different episodes of the podcast. I was going to ask a question of those in chat, and I guess on the panel. Would it be helpful to you as well if I put their episodes that we do each week now in their chat rooms, or in their rooms in Discord as well? Is that something that, then you would just have it all right there at your fingertips for as much,
I think
what we're
that's a good
covering.
idea. Yeah, why not?
Okay, so I'll try to start working on that. And then we can just kind of put all of it right at your fingertips, and you don't have to go searching in other places. So yeah, I'm getting a couple of yeses from the chat. So
Yeah.
I'll work on that, and I'm sure I can get some of my helpers to help me with it, and we'll start working on that. Okay, so excuse me, I'm so sorry. I actually don't need any help remembering from the panel. Oh yes, absolutely. Kat, come on. Between you and Cherie, you guys pull those things up so quick anyway. Yeah, if anything you'd like to do, grabbing the YouTube videos specifically, please do. That would be really helpful. I appreciate that. You have the time. So I don't need anybody on the panel to remind me about this. So I feel pretty proud of myself that I remembered this all on my own. But I am now eligible to add a membership to. Yes, I did, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, thank you for reminding me. We'll talk about that after I talk about this real quick. Under your stars. I'm now eligible to have a join button or a membership button or whatever you call that, and get super stickers, super chats, all that stuff. I haven't been really very interested in doing any of that. Mostly because I don't have very many subscribers so far, number one. And number two, I don't know. I know that, YouTube takes so much that with, the few that I might get to join, you know, I don't know what that money could what money is actually sent to me would actually be useful. But I'm going to go ahead and do the membership thing, the join button, whatever it is. And what will happen with all of that money is it will just go into the account that I have set up for transcripts and legal, Daniel's defense fund that he still needs a lot of money for. So that's what it will be for. What little bit comes to me, it's going to automatically go into that account. That's the way I'll have that set up. And it'll just sit there until we need to buy more transcripts or, help with defense costs or whatever it is that we need to do. That's most pressing at the moment, I guess. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm considering doing a few articles of merchandise to also display, under the description or whatever. I don't know. I always find those things when I'm looking at different YouTube channels or whatever, they kind of get on my nerves and stuff. But I see the point and I see the usefulness of it in, like with what we want to do on my channel and what Foul Play does. It's none of the money is for our own personal income or gain whatsoever. It's all, sent back into the cases in some way. So in Foul Play's case for FOIAs and different things like that. So and the same with Daniel's. If we decide there's something that we feel like we need to FOIA that we don't have, or that we think we should have and never thought of, just things like that. So that's what all of it would be used for. So I will I'll work on figuring out how to make that work. I'll see if I can get my YouTube manager to possibly help me with that. She's much better at it than I am. I'm too easily distracted. Like, they leave you all these links to go to this other page to, learn about this. And so I'll do that. And before I know it, I'm gone for an hour from what I originally was trying to do. So at any rate, and I just get frustrated with it. I get a little annoyed. And so I'm just like, oh, screw it. So anyway, that will be coming, and I'll have that set up for next week. And we'll see what it looks like, because I sure don't know. And if any of you have any ideas for what you'd like to see for badges, the little badges that you get and stuff like that, feel free to put them in the comment sections, or, let us know in Discord, and, we'll figure out how that all works and we'll make it happen. So I told Jack that I said I'm kind of scared now that I, have been approved to do it. And
You're scared?
I'm scared. I'm scared. So just because, listen, I occasionally swear words escape my lips. And I know I'm gonna be I'm not, like, my channel's not officially monetized. I don't know if that makes any difference, but I don't think you should be.
It does.
It does make a difference.
Yeah,
since
I
I'm
mean,
not
correct, because once you're monetized, then you're eligible to get ads ran on your channel. And so based on the content of your channel, it bases their decision on what ads to run with your material. So if you've got a lot of cussing in your, in whatever your creation is, then that can limit your ad revenue. That will.
Okay, so you
Rhonda,
can't do it now, Rhonda.
We're only going to get like dildo manufacturer advertising.
I'm not so sure about that, but right.
Well, hopefully things like domestic violence and rape hotlines or, drug hotlines,
Especially-
only that.
Especially on the shows that Alice is on.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
once you're, you can. I mean, there are different ways to approach, when you get monetized. If you want to have ads during your presentation, or what I always do, because it can become an issue, but is I'll turn off all ads until after the live,
Oh,
and then after we're done, I turn them on, and then but you still have to go through the process of answering. I mean, when I first started streaming for Zoe, I think there was like under the community guidelines, there was like 3 or 4. It's like a section, and it's under each section there's a subsection. It was like 3 or 4, and then under each subsection there were a few things that you could choose from to make your decision on what was to base your content on. Now I think there's 10 or 12 sections, and the subsections have greatly extended. I mean, they've added so much to it over the last few years for the community guidelines. So, it's a lot to consider, but, most of the content that we do, I always put, some inappropriate language, and it's generally not a problem. There are a few videos that obviously we've done in the Steve and Brendan's cases that I just don't even turn it on. I just don't, because the content is really rough. So I'm just not even going to fight with them.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there's things to consider, but it's pretty easy to get through once you do it a few times.
yeah. Yeah, I know, I read through all of the things, all of the guideline things, all of the bold things I read. I clicked on every one of them, and I was like, oh my, that's why I was like, screw this.
Right.
Fuck this. This is too much. I was like, there's no way I can,
Well,
and then I know, again, I didn't think it was part of being monetized, having the membership button and things. So I thought maybe I would be a little safer, but I know, try to watch my language.
the other part of the monetized thing is the copyright issue really ramps up, because they run their algorithm. They do it anyway, but they're really, anything that you upload, they run that algorithm. And I've told you guys before, we've had jail calls, a jail call that's been claimed that our algorithm claims as someone else's property. I mean, literally, we
Because
had
they
to
put it out there first.
No, because of some passage in some music video that they've done, and that's on YouTube, that somehow matches
Oh wow.
this phone. I'm
The
not kidding.
algorithm. Yeah.
It's happened 4 or 5 times. I'm not kidding.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty good.
the Brendan interrogation video from March 1st, 2006. Sheree got here recently. That was claimed by, there was 40 seconds of that was claimed by Making a Murderer, Netflix. And so I couldn't monetize it. So of course I contested it, and but it still took them like 2 or 3 weeks to clear it. I went ahead and put it on, I finally just said to hell with it, and I just went ahead and made it public. But it's a public record. And it's already happened.
I wondered how those things would. I always was curious about how that would work when you're doing a YouTube show and you're using content that other people have used the same exact content on their
Right.
videos, but
That's
it
right.
is a public record, so they don't own it.
That's right.
Does it flag for that? I don't know
Well,
how
it did. I mean, there was 40 seconds that got flagged out of this, 5+ hour interrogation video,
Right.
coercion session. 40 seconds out of all that. And I'm thinking to myself, and, just looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, and it's a public record. They didn't film it. They got it the same way we got it, Stupid. I bitched about it too. I mean, in that complaint, when I contested, I bitched about it. I'm like, this is like the 4th or 5th time of something that's been claimed by Netflix that they own. That's a public record. Got to do something to improve your algorithm or response time or something. Anyway.
Hmm.
So anyway, getting back to
Anyway.
copyright, yeah, that's something else. They really ramp up and will hold it against you. Just saying. But typically, it's
Yeah.
not a problem. It's a non-issue.
Yeah. Well, between my YouTube manager and Jack, it might take a month or so of shows, but hopefully we can just get through it, and people can join, and the content. I guess I should probably put up one of those fair use right, whatever it's called. I have one. I've just never displayed it.
The disclaimer, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so so we'll put that up to start making sure that that's being displayed, and because we do play stuff from Malkin and Brian Bates mostly is what we're using. I'm pretty sure if I needed to, I could get permission from them, but I don't feel like I'm going to need to, so we'll see. So Catnit says, to reach this point on YouTube of having these options is an amazing achievement. Well, thank you. So proud of all of you and your dedication and perseverance. We appreciate that, Kat. It definitely has taken us a while to get there for sure. So that's okay. It's okay. If you get a chance to, if any of you get a chance to go back through some of the newer videos that we've done in the last 5 or 6 weeks since we restarted everything, go back through some of the comment sections. There's some comments in some of those sections, and I made a community tab post a few weeks ago, and there was a comment in there from somebody who was certain that I was not going to, that I would delete his comment. I responded to him. I just barely saw it yesterday, and he made it like 11 days ago. But I responded to him very politely, very respectfully. And so if I can just get, if you guys, I know everybody's so busy, and I understand that. But if you get a chance to, just check out some of the community posts that I've made. In fact, I put in 4 flyers that I made a couple of years ago. And I did one a week on my community page for 4 weeks until I had them all displayed. Go take a look at those because they're very interesting, and they revolve around Galen Gigger and the way he manipulated the jury in the trial. And they're pretty interesting. So if you think about it, go to the community tab and check those out, and just leave a comment or a like even, and let's help get that part of the. I've seen the change. I've seen now a little bit more for the first time what the what the purpose of an algorithm is since we've been doing this, this new series. I've seen more. I'm like, oh, okay, now that's making sense. But when I wasn't getting a lot of viewers and subs and no comments and very few likes and things like that, it was really just very stagnant to me. I wasn't seeing really what was the point of an algorithm. Now I'm starting to see that more and seeing what the purpose is and how it can work to help us get more information out about Daniel's case. So, just some things to think about and consider doing if you wouldn't mind, and helping us to, I'm learning that now, Kat, and I know that you've always known that, and I know Jack's known that, and but as I'm actually looking in the analytics now a little bit myself, I'm not going like crazy with it because it's a lot of lines that make my brain hurt. But I have noticed some changes, and there's 2 main things that pop up every time you go into the studio, and that's watch hours, I think, and I can't remember, but there are 2 thresholds that you kind of want to pass. And I've been in the green with those, meaning those have gone up for the last 4 weeks now. And that's been pretty exciting for me because I haven't really seen that. Before it's been up and down and just teetering on the, the line of, of the number limits that they put on it. it's been in green now for quite some time, and it's pretty exciting. So anyway, enough about YouTube shit. So I will get that together, getting the videos, each of the videos into the accuser rooms and all that stuff. And we'll work on some badges or buttons or however all that membership stuff goes, and have that ready for next week. So thank you to everybody who's been a part of that and helped us to get there, to get to this point. And because really, it's grown exponentially. Well, I shouldn't say exponentially, but it's grown a lot in just the last month, 2 months. So I really appreciate everybody for helping us with that. And then Under Your Scars reminded me, and it was something I did want to talk to you guys about, and it really did slip my mind. But we're going to, I wanted to let you know that Richard Gloss at the Supreme Court has now agreed to hear Richard Gloss's case. And
Hey, is Don Knight going to be arguing that?
I don't know. I haven't, I haven't looked into it. I can't imagine why he wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder if he's argued before the Supreme. I'm sure
I
he
don't
has.
know.
I'll
Yeah.
have to look that up.
Did that say September 29th?
I didn't see a date.
Right underneath. Yeah, right underneath the photo.
Oh, this was a rally. This was the rally.
Oh,
in
that was the
September.
rally.
Yeah. That was
Oh,
the
I
picture
went
of
to
the
that.
rally.
Was that at the
Yeah.
state capitol when Dr. Phil
Yes.
came? Yes.
Yep.
Outside the Supreme Court, it says.
Well,
That
then
photo.
that's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. It says outside the Supreme Court, but that doesn't look like the Supreme Court to me.
September.
But I
I
guess it
can't
could be.
remember
Yeah.
when that was. It was hot outside.
It was before we came to it had to be in June or early July, Kay.
Supreme Court
'Cause it was
of Oklahoma, I think. That's what
Dr.
that is.
Phil was sweating his makeup off.
Yeah. Because it was before we came to Oklahoma that you did that. So it had to have been in June or early July.
Yeah.
But it says Supreme Court takes up Oklahoma death row inmate's bid to overturn his conviction. So
That's
this,
so fantastic.
yeah, it's amazing. Well, I mean, this makes it seem like it's a picture of the Supreme Court. I guess it is because, yeah, I mean, it's not. It certainly isn't the state capitol, but anyway, that is definitely not the state capitol that I remember going to. So yeah, so this is a pretty big deal that they're going to hear his case.
Yeah.
It's really a big deal. It just doesn't happen very often. I mean, look at Brendan and Stephen; they didn't get this. Daniel's Supreme Court claim was denied. Yeah, so this is I can link this one in the chat if somebody hasn't already, and you can read it. And there's of course more. There's a ton more. Different articles that you
So
can
we don't
read.
know when that's scheduled for yet.
I haven't heard.
I haven't
Did you guys
either.
know you can listen to the Supreme Court arguments live?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to listen to this one for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's just it's really exciting, and I'm really, really happy for Richard and his family and all of his loved ones, and for wrongful convictions everywhere, because this man's on death row and he's been to the chamber 4 times now, 4 or 5 times.
I think he's
So-
had 3 last meals.
Yeah,
3 last
at least
meals.
3.
Yeah.
At least 3 last meals
Unreal.
this man's had.
He's
So
lucky to be alive, actually, because it's just
Yeah.
been seems stupid to say a comedy of errors, but from the outside looking in. They
Oh,
had him strapped to the table and had expired drugs or whatever, or the wrong mixture of drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just different things that happened at different times that saved his life to get him to this point. It's
Yeah.
just
And
unbelievable.
and I don't know about you, but I just kept thinking, there's got to be a reason why this man has literally escaped death at least 3 times. There's got to be a reason for it, and I'm praying to God or any
well,
other
because
higher
he's
power
innocent.
that listens that this is going to be his time. Because
It will also say a
Oklahoma
lot. I mean, if they rule in his favor, I mean, it's going to say a lot about the death penalty, period.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Man, I say this all the time. I really still think life in prison is the greater punishment.
I've always
Um,
said that and thought that.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Absolutely.
if I got a life sentence, I think I would
Die.
an execution. I mean, why? Like, what for?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, if I could fight to get out if I didn't deserve that, but a lot of people who have death sentences were actually guilty. So,
Right. But
I
you kill one that's
Mhm.
innocent.
Yeah, that's right.
know.
And we have, and so it needs to go
Yeah.
away because
Yeah.
you can't take it back. It's done.
yeah. I just feel like if your state has executed one innocent person, then it should be abolished in your state. I mean, I think it should be abolished across the board, but for those states who still have the death penalty, Utah's
They
one
don't
of them.
tell us what to do over here in Oklahoma, Rhonda. We do what we want.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
I know your officials do. Yeah, so there's a problem, and I'm not saying that there's not a problem in every other state, because I know there is, and because I've looked into Oklahoma so much and done a lot of reading about Oklahoma, and I guess you could say research. Hey, thank you, Under Your Scars, for being here. We appreciate you, and I appreciate you for always dropping links and sharing information with me. You're really a big help, so you take care, okay? Thank you. I just, and I don't live in Oklahoma, obviously, but I feel like I'm a part of the Oklahoma City community because I feel like I spend so much time researching and reading about stuff in that area, like I really do, and even more so than my own state. Not a lot's going on in my own state, so I don't really. There's not a lot to investigate. Not that there's not corruption or things that are wrong, but just a lot more in other states, and Oklahoma just happens to be the one I'm focused on at this time. Wisconsin's got its own huge problems with corruption too, and I know that as well. So, and everybody says that their state is the worst, or their county's the worst, or their city's the worst for all these kinds of things. I understand that. And they feel that way because that's where they live. And I get it. But for an outsider like me or Cherie or or Susan or Jack to look at what we know about what's gone on in Oklahoma City and us being outsiders and say that there is a bad corruption problem, just like we all do with Wisconsin, that's pretty telling, I think, that, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion. There's nothing to share about where I live because there's nothing controversial, not a lot of controversial stuff going on. We do have an execution coming up that's been, what is the word I want to look for? decided they're planning a date or something that's coming up, I think, sometime this year. If that happens, I'm definitely talking about it on the channel. You bet, because that will be huge for my state. But I just with these other couple states, Oklahoma and Wisconsin in particular, I feel like there's so much controversy with their systems that that's where we're at. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, I saw that too, Sheila. I saw that, and it is freaking weird. I don't know what's up with that, but it's weird. Just saying. I don't know if anybody's seen anything about that going on in was that Jackson, Mississippi, or not Mississippi? Say it for me, Sheila, because I can't remember. Anyway,
I did read about that, and it was like it was hard to find anything in the news. It was weird.
Yeah, it's very hush hush. I actually, Hinds County, is that Missouri or Mississippi? I feel like it's
No.
Jackson, Mississippi.
I think it's Mississippi.
So I saw I think I
Mr.
saw
Jackson.
a YouTube auditor talking about it or something. Okay, that's what I thought. And then
Get the hell out of Mississippi, folks.
then you have this emerging story of 3 friends who died mysteriously in their
Oh
friend's
my God.
Kansas City Chiefs
Kansas City.
watch party in Kansas City,
Yeah.
Missouri. And I'm like, oh my God, that's where a lot of my family is. And I'm like, what the? And that's a whole bizarre case, of course, but
Not really. It's not that bizarre. The
don't
media's
think
made
so?
it pretty bizarre. No, I think the media's blown this out of proportion. I mean,
I've just,
until I see some evidence otherwise, I mean, I can
I
see
just,
I can see that maybe they're not being straightforward about what kind of illegal drugs they did at the party, but I imagine they were all highly inebriated on top of whatever, if they were doing any kind of other drugs. I don't
Well, their
know.
friends slept for 2 days while they were out there. So
yeah, the
yeah,
friend
They
that lived
didn't
they
there.
probably
sleep
were.
for what who slept for 2 days?
The
The
guy
house owner.
inside.
No, he didn't sleep for 2 days. He worked from home for 2 days
Oh,
because it was
Oh,
because of the weather outside.
gotcha.
It
that's
was
not
like
what I read. And,
right.
well,
I know
and I
there's a
should
lot
have
of
known because
misinformation.
the article that I read said it was 30 degrees. It was below 0
Right.
Yeah.
those nights. It was freezing. And that even at the game, it was just crazy cold.
I
So
think I
yeah,
saw
that
that it
article
was
was pretty bad.
yeah. I don't know, I'd try to find some more objective information on that case because I think, they were all really messed up. The owner of the house, who's in trouble, for having the dead people in his backyard for 2 days and not knowing it. He's I don't know what he goes to bed with them still there, which some people think is weird. I used to do that all the time when I had parties at my house. Be like, I'm out, you
Yeah.
guys lock the door. Who's ever the last one to leave? I got to go to
Right.
bed. I mean, so that's not weird to me. That's what he did. Then he gets up. There were 2 cars parked on the street, like down the block. If he hadn't gone out to his driveway, I guess he wouldn't have seen him. And he didn't go out. I don't know. I hate to see people jump to conclusions about something like this because if he's innocent and that was all,
Oh, sure.
I can't wait to, the toxicology
I was just
report
gonna
will
say,
tell a
it's-
lot more.
Yeah, it's going to come
Yeah.
down to toxicology. And I'm not saying the guy did anything wrong. I just think it's weird. I just think it's a weird case. And I am very curious
Yeah.
to see what else what else comes of it. And it could be very innocent, absolutely.
Well, if
you
they're
know,
if they were highly inebriated and had other drugs on board, I could
Mm-hmm.
see them sitting out there talking and then just kind of passing out outside.
It's possible.
I could see that
It's just
happening.
what's kind of weird is, I mean, 3 of them, but
What's kind of weird
yeah,
when there's 3 of them is that don't you have a wife or a girlfriend or someone who's going to miss you and will be coming
right?
to the last place you were? No one did that.
Yeah,
None of the dead
yeah.
people's
2 days.
friends or family came over to this guy's house to say, hey, we heard he was going to be here last night or the
And their
night before. No
vehicles
one's
were out
seen him
there.
in a day. Do what?
yeah.
Yeah.
2
And their
were
vehicles were
on
out
the,
there.
yeah, on the street down the block a little bit.
Hmm.
Which is where they parked because I guess there was limited parking or something. I don't know
Yeah.
why they were parked on the street. But he said if he had seen the cars parked on the street, that he probably wouldn't have immediately thought anything about it anyway, because it's not uncommon for people to leave
Get an
their
Call
car
an
Uber.
Uber.
to ride
Yeah,
home
yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes. So anyway,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get all the way off on that.
No, it's okay. Hey, I mean, I am completely open to hearing what other people think about anything, honestly, because I'm not. The only thing I really saw was something from the Daily Mail, and it was family members giving an interview, I guess. You know, and of course, the family members are all going to be very emotional, no doubt. So, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the family members are lying, but their perceptions of what may or may not have happened or what they think would have happened or should have happened are going to be, you know, completely driven by, you know, their emotions.
Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, that's, you know, that and another article that I read somewhere. I posted over in Foul Plays News articles room. I did hear about this. I heard about it, and I think it was Cherie said that Crime Weekly did a segment on the Mississippi case. So I'll have to do some more searching about that because I know I saw something and it was bizarre. Whatever it was that I watched, I was really just like, no, something like this did not happen. There's no way. But evidently it's true. So we'll look more into that, Sheila. And if you find out anything, let us know. Because I'm curious. I'm a nosy person. So anyway, great news about Richard Glossop. And you know, just to see him get a new trial with all of the evidence that was withheld. And hopefully some people will be held accountable for those Brady violations. You know, yeah, it will be a trial. It'll be talked about, I believe, all over the country when that happens. So we'll definitely keep staying on top of that as well. Oh yeah, of course, Cherie, please do. Yeah, post a link. If you have a link, post it. And so anyway, it's kind of nice to just kind of chat about some other things going on outside of the case, and you know, just having a little bit of idle chit chat back and forth for a change. And we still haven't even hit 2 hours. I'm very proud of us. Very proud of me. So that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, we're going to have trial testimony next week, and I don't know how many pages she has, but we will definitely read everything that she testifies to next week. And we'll see how much more, if we can squeeze any more in, or if we need to stretch it out to another week so that we can get Rocky and whoever else is important. I'm sure Christopher Shelton will be testifying, and so we'll see. So Cherie has posted the link to the Crime Weekly coverage about this Mississippi case. So yeah, let's check that out. That will be interesting. Thank you for posting that. So I'm just going to kind of go around the panel really quick and see. Well, not to go quick, but talk. See what everybody's doing, what's going on, and what your weather's like, or whatever. We'll start with Susan. Susan, what have you got?
Oh, I don't have much, Rhonda. We're back in the 40s here. Going to be 60 by next week. In the 60s, so it's a lot easier than those cold temps. But yeah, I've just been doing a lot of reading, a lot of YouTubing,
Cool.
reading enough.
That's awesome. I know there's been a
The
few
stuff
things.
I read about some of the accusers that I didn't know about is really mind-blowing.
In Daniel's case, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah. The more familiar you are with it, or the more familiar you get with it, oh yeah, bring it
I
on.
know, and there's so much. So much.
And thank you for saying that, because
Little by
there
little.
really is so much more than what the public ever knew, or ever knew. So yeah, thanks for saying that.
Yeah, I heard another YouTuber say that, talking about yet another YouTuber not offering the evidence without comment, just putting it out there. And that YouTuber herself doesn't do that. A, and B, for these wrongful conviction cases, it's been put out there with the media and the prosecutor's commentary. So now they need to hear the other side. And that's what I've got to say about that.
Thank you, Cherie.
I
got a salt
totally
shaker
agree,
handy?
Cherie.
Yeah, I do too.
meant
I
that.
do too. She did. Full stop. All right. Thank you, Susan. Kay, anything going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh, just digging back into some parts of the case that I needed to refresh on, and just, I don't know, trying to make everything make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is, doing this Terri Morris episodes are really the most important episodes, I think, because they're so foundational for how the case was crafted. And I think the more that people are familiar with Terri Morris's role, not saying that she created the role, but her role in this case, it really shows how the rest of the accusers that they got after she became a part of the case were really just piling on until they found Adara and got the DNA match, and then they were done. Adara was the last. There's no telling how many accusers there would have been more if they hadn't found Adara for another month or two.
Yeah.
Because that the DNA evidence was, if they couldn't match that to someone Daniel pulled over, their whole narrative was going to fall apart. So, they had
Or
to
if
get
they found it right in the beginning, if they found it
If they would have just
right in
went
the
back.
beginning, right? The
They're
same
not
day as Janie.
they're not very smart. Oh yeah, we didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love how they change up their trial testimony at the end, nearing the end of the trial, for like kind of for Adara Gardner, because it really illuminates, she's the last one. It really illuminates that, I don't know what I was going to say. It just flew out of my brain. What does it illuminate, Kay? Oh my God. Please send help.
I don't see any glue. I don't see any
It-
glowing.
It illuminates how they constructed everything.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it shows, well, because they also had to connect. I mean, they also had to be able to bring Janie Liggins along because, you know, she was the initial accuser who had the AVL turned off for the traffic stop. That, you know, that was one of the more suspicious looking things that happened.
And she went to the press.
And she went to the press.
And
And
she had, what's his name, the lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they had nothing to corroborate her story. So they had to get Terri Morris to be the quote first one, unquote. Yeah, there were just enough sensational things about elements of this case. Shardarion Hill and the whole friending on Facebook.
Yeah.
That whole thing, which was, you know, you see what that is when we get to it, that there's nothing more. I mean, although it was improper, there's nothing sexual in any of those communications at all. So, but those are great spins for the press because you can make it sound so nefarious because it sounds nefarious.
It does. Well, and like Catnet said, is this good evidence? And it's also very telling that he was found not guilty on every single one of her charges, and hers was the one that they really tried to make look like, because of the Facebook messages and him going to her house and all that. But her story was just so outrageous and unbelievable. She was unbelievable in trial, and she's just as unbelievable in her deposition. So, you know, her soft little sultry whisper voice and all that stuff, it's all BS, because she is freaking probably throat scratcher in real life, you know, in her. So yeah, she was tripping for sure. So yeah, okay, all right. Well, thank you, Kay, for your comments. And Jack, what have you got?
Well, a few things. Yeah, it's moderated here a little bit too, Susan. I think we're going to be in the 40s for the highs for at least the next several days. I don't see much snow in the forecast either, so I guess that's a good thing.
Wow.
So we've got that going for us. Yeah, it's like a heat wave. And then got a little news about the granddaughter. It's nothing to worry about, but she had a little cyst on her face, on her jaw. So they took her and had it ultrasound, and it's I don't remember the name of it, but it's like it's a little cyst or a little benign tumor that's full of hair and just whatever. That's not a problem now, but could become a problem. So they're gonna remove it. They're gonna cut it out.
Okay.
And then
Tell them to get that sack around it too, otherwise it will come back. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Yeah.
I've watched Dr. Pimple Popper, so.
Then I wanted to mention, I don't know if anybody else has watched this on Netflix, but there's a documentary. I've watched a few here lately, but this one kind of stuck out. It's called American Nightmare. Has anyone watched that?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard about it.
Oh
God,
my God.
yes.
I saw it.
Yes.
You gotta watch it.
insane.
It is crazy, especially
Yeah.
what this police department did. Jesus Christ! Thank God
Yeah.
for.
Boy,
Well, I won't spoil it. I think it's
Don't
only like
spoil
3
it,
episodes.
Jack.
I think it's only
3
like 3.
episodes.
Yeah, it's really
oh, it's
good.
only 3 episodes. Okay,
Yeah, but it's
I can
really
binge
good.
Yeah.
that.
They do the they keep the story moving and they wrap it up really well. And yeah, definitely watch it, Kat. It's really good. And
And what
then
state does this take place in?
California.
that is correct. It is California, small community in
Okay.
California, Southwest California, if I remember correctly, in that region.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
those are my stomping grounds. I'll have to check it out.
It's not. I don't. Where are you from? You told me. No,
I'm from Riverside, San Bernardino
no,
area.
no, it's not there. I don't know how far it is, but it's not that. This is like a really
I'll have to
small
watch it.
community. Yeah, definitely catch it. And then finally, just still work pecking away, trying to get these Jody calls recorded and get them uploaded. So
It's a lot of work. I know that.
yeah, it is. But I just pop through some. I'll just get them done here and there when I can, and move on and get them posted. This batch here, I think there's 45 calls in this batch that to be converted, something like that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So that's about it. Thanks, everyone.
All right. What about excuse me. Do we have anything coming up this weekend in foul play?
We do. Dog actually just sent me the slides, and we're going to be moving into part 3 of the New Witnesses Emerge series. I don't know how much. I don't know if he wraps it on this one or not. I can't. I haven't been all the way through the slides yet. So, but part 3 of that, and I haven't decided what we're going to do for open mic on Sunday. We'll see.
Okay. Cool.
5
All right,
p.m.
well,
Central,
community
everyone.
content for Sunday. Let us know, and we can pop in
Yep.
with some Daniel stuff.
Will do.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Jack. And so everybody make sure, I know you guys are all going to be there for foul play this weekend. So
I'll be watching the playoffs games.
yeah, there's going to be some games this
Me
weekend.
too.
I think
Yeah.
we're going down to Texas.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Cherie, I know you said that was all you had to say about that, but what else you got?
Well, good show. I enjoyed listening to that. I'm not sure if I've ever read it, the whole thing, the transcript, and I also enjoyed the discussion afterward too. It was interesting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cherie. Okay. Also, we wanted to remind everyone about Case by Case, Amy, and her channel and the case that she's covering. Another twisted case. This takes place in Ohio, in Indiana. Cherie has done a lot of work with Amy on that case. She's actually written a brief, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And her work that she's done on it is going to be used to, I believe, Cherie, tell us what you did.
Well, just trying to put it all together into a case summary is what it was, and pointing out where ineffective assistance of counsel issues and how it prejudiced Ashley's case. And so that's what that is.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, she's done a lot of work. I just go on Amy's channel on Monday nights when I can and just talk. I mean, I don't do.
You've done more than that.
Well, not really, but thank you. But just what I've read, the stuff that I have read on Ashley's case, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough, and this is another wrongful conviction that really does deserve some attention. And Amy's done extremely well on her channel. She was up over 1,000 subs within less than a month. And she gets a lot of interest in her case, in that case. A lot of it, partly because it's not connected to the Delphi case, but others in the true crime genre have tried to connect Ashley's case to the Delphi case. And there is some talk in Garrett Kurtz, who is the actual murderer in the case that Ashley's involved in. He put himself in the middle, tried to put himself in the middle of the Delphi case. And so, there's that, but it's not really a connection because there really was no involvement between Garrett Kurtz and the Delphi case other than the lies he told about it himself. Cherie, what were you going to say?
Just that Ashley did grow up in Delphi, but she's not connected to the Delphi case, other than with Garrett running his mouth.
Right.
I think he just likes to run his mouth and get attention.
Yeah, he does. He's evil, and I believe he was on his way to. Well, he's already killed 2 people, strangled 2 people to death. And I believe, just by what I've read and know and seen and heard, he was on his way to being a serial killer. And I have no doubt in my mind, with what little bit of education I have on serial killers and their mentality. So yeah, it's really interesting. Is that the case with the group of people and the death of a young mother? Well, that's a little vague. That's broad.
It is the death of the young mother. I'm not sure if she means Ashley's case. I'm not sure if it's the same case.
Yeah. So the person who was murdered was Nicole Bowen, and she I don't know if she did have a child or 2 children.
Yeah, 2 boys.
I don't think she had custody of them. That doesn't matter whether she had custody or not. She was a drug addict, and that doesn't mean that she should be murdered. But she had a troubled life, troubled past, and was currently struggling. And so was Ashley. And Ashley does have a son, but she was absolutely Garrett Kurtz, the actual man who murdered Nicole Bowen. He implicated Ashley and said Ashley helped him in his last interrogation video. And it was it's an amazing case. And Amy has done a lot of fantastic work. No, they weren't partying, really. So just check out Case by Case. I think Kat has linked her channel. Yep, she's linked her channel in the chat. So just check it out. And there was just what's it called? A recap that we did Monday afternoon, I think. And she tried to put everything in a nutshell. It's really hard for her to put in that case in a nutshell, just like it's hard to put Daniel's case in a nutshell. So it's really just easier if you just go check out that video that Kat just posted. You're going to get a lot better information that way. So, because that's what we need. We don't have enough wrongful conviction and stuff to talk about and people to try to help, right? So, one person at a time. So, so check out Case by Case. She puts out a lot of shorts, and she does a lot of recorded not interviews, but recorded videos that she puts in her channel. So she's got a lot of content and a lot of really good information and a lot of followers. So check her out. And I can't think of anything else that I need to say. And it's been a while since I've actually spoken so much. So hopefully I'll be able to take that part better in foul play this weekend, whatever might be coming up. I can't think of anything else. Go to like the video, share it, and go to, if you're on Twitter, this is showing on Twitter right now. I'm sure nobody's watching it right now, but it does get views. Over time, I've watched that as well. So, yeah, just until next week at 5 p.m. Central, I think that's all we have for tonight. So, peace out.